I'm going to share with you a secret strategy that all of the top marketers use. It is incredibly powerful and super simple to implement, and it will revolutionize your marketing efforts. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about me and my story, and then we will get into this tiny little strategy that has massive impact. Are you on the edge of your seat? I feel like I would be, maybe, if I was watching this video. The reason for that is something known as the curiosity gap. And the curiosity gap is a concept that utilizes our desire as humans to know what happens next, this primal connection that we have to story and to want to know the ending. And through this tiny little principle, you are able to hook customers in, to keep them engaged with your content, to keep them reading, to keep them watching, to keep them on the edge of their seat so that they are not only consuming what you're creating, but eagerly waiting for you to drop that piece of information that they are so hungry for. That is the curiosity gap. It's what the master copywriters, the Gary Halperts, the direct marketing gurus of yesteryear mastered so effectively that they could get you to read pages and pages and pages of letters, or scrolling endlessly through a website, or watching with bated breath through the end of a TikTok video. Obviously, Gary Halpert was not writing TikTok video scripts, but that's this principle in action. So the curiosity gap is a really simple thing that you can instantly add to everything from blog titles to ad copy to the scripts of your videos. And it is this hook that you sink into your audience, and it's the way that you pull them in and you keep them engaged. And it's so simple. So you essentially present them a morsel of information, give them a little tidbit of knowledge, and then withhold the conclusion, withhold the resolution, withhold that end of the thing. So I tell you, I'm going to share with you a secret strategy that's totally going to revolutionize every single piece of marketing that you create. But first, let's get into a little story. Now you're like, what is this strategy? I need to know it. I'm going to listen to this story, even if it has nothing at all to do with this strategy, because I need to know the strategy. And then sometimes what really tricky marketers will do is they'll make you invest time and effort into watching a long video or reading a long letter or consuming this whole website only to learn that the answer to this thing, that burning piece of information that you absolutely must know, is now behind a paywall or behind a form that you need to sign up for. So now that curiosity is stoked to a level where you may be compelled to put in your credit card details or enter in your email address, but you don't have to take it to those extremes. I don't like withholding things in that way. That's not the style of marketing that I naturally gravitate to and what I create. I believe that if you create good content and that if you give good value, that people will want to hear more from you. But that is a very powerful technique and strategy, and I have no hate for the people that choose to do that. That's just not my personal cup of tea, if you will. So the curiosity gap can be presented in a few different ways, either through telling a story and then stopping maybe right as you're about to get to the climax or the resolution. So somebody's telling you this really juicy story, and then all of a sudden they stop and they say, but hold on, first, let me go into this, or let me explain why this matters. Now you're going to listen to whatever they say because you want to know what happened after she caught her husband cheating on her or whatever. That's one way of employing the curiosity gap. Another way of doing this, and this is really often used with those clickbaity headlines, especially like if you're on a news site and you see all these really bizarre headlines of things, it's exploiting something that doesn't seem like it makes sense, and that is going to provoke curiosity. So how this 75-year-old grandma looks like she's 20. You know what? Let's just go to local Las Vegas news. Clickbait is masters at exploiting the curiosity gap. Why Botox users are turning to Costco for their cheaper alternative. The actual cost of a new walk-in shower may surprise you. Why this... that's not very exciting, but... Urologist. Building muscle after 60 comes down to this one thing. So none of these are, I would say, the best headlines. I wouldn't necessarily use any of these as examples of what you absolutely should do when you are thinking about how to use the curiosity gap. But when you combine two ideas that don't seem to make sense together, and then you withhold the answer that's kind of connecting those, that is another way of utilizing the curiosity gap. And then the third way is to promise a piece of information, but to not deliver on it. So immediately. So similarly to if you're telling a story and you're getting towards the climax, or you're close to the resolution in the end and people really want to know what's going to happen next, you can do the same thing by promising a piece of knowledge. So sort of like what I did at the beginning of the video, where I'm promising you this amazing strategy that's going to revolutionize every piece of your marketing. That just sounds like, whoa, how can it possibly be? And then I withheld that little bit. So you're left like, oh, I want to know what that is. I'm going to stay tuned for a minute. And that is the curiosity gap in action. This is something that as soon as you're aware of it, you will probably recognize it everywhere. It pops up all the time in all sorts of places, and it does so because it's very effective. So love it or hate it, I'm not a big fan of clickbait, but I understand that in this age of the world that we live in, where our attention is constantly being pulled in a million different directions, we need to find ways to be able to grab people's attention long enough to get them to focus on what we are wanting to say or what we think might be helpful for them. And so sometimes by exploiting something like the curiosity gap, it's giving you that opportunity in a very non-harmful way to be able to establish an opportunity for connection, to communicate what it is that you think might be helpful or important to whoever you're wanting to speak to. And through that, delivering that piece of information that you know could be really helpful for them and their lives. So that's the curiosity gap in action. Let me know, is this something that you're using? Is it something that you're wanting to use? Drop it in the comments below. Let me know if you like this video. Subscribe if you'd like to see more, and be sure to watch whatever YouTube is showing you next. Bye.